friends, so Odin help me, this is going to be a short video, I swear this time, or at least I'm going to try to. The primary reason of which is because no one appears to know what the fresh hell happened in Syria on Tuesday, April 4th in the rebel-controlled town of Khan Sheikhoun. I say no one knows when there does appear to be concise evidence that something absolutely horrible did happen there that caused the death of about 70 Syrian people in the ongoing war that has been ravaging the region for the last 6 years. A war, I must remind you friends, was exacerbated, if not outright a result of Hillary Clinton's either inability or lack of desire to broker a ceasefire in 2012 as she served as Secretary of State. If you want to point a finger at any one person for being responsible for this nightmare, well, Hillary Clinton is probably where you should start. Anyway, according to many media outlets, on the 4th, the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, launched a chemical attack on this small rebel-occupied town. The operative issue is that, well, bombing and violence in Syria has been ongoing for years now. Chemical attacks are particularly heinous. This entire mess is so complicated and already full of vast and detailed conspiracy theories, be they accurate or not, that I don't really even know where to start. First of all, and this is probably the most far-reaching one, but there is a potential that the involvement of Turkey had something to do with this attack. Turkey, a country where many of the survivors of the attacks are now being held. Well, in 2014, Turkey blocked their citizens from being able to view YouTube because a leaked tape discussed, again based on who you asked, a possible military action against Syria, including planning an attack on their own nation, Turkey attacking Turkey, with the intention of blaming it on Syria. Then last year, there was also the murder of a Russian diplomat by a Turkish extremist. So, the possibility of some sort of proxy war being waged between Syria, Turkey, and Russia is at least not beyond the realm of possibility as an explanation or explication for this attack. The reason why there is potentially so much confusion going on is because chemical weapons are rarely used, even though Syria has certainly been accused of that in the past, due to the fact that use of chemical weapons is a violation of the Geneva Convention. And with Assad apparently winning the war against the rebels, it seems strange that he would at this point choose to draw massive international attention to the ongoing conflict through the use of such weapons on a small, unimportant location, militarily speaking. And I mean, you see the suffering. You see the videos of these children choking, suffocating, struggling for air, and weeping afterwards for the loss of their families and their relatives. I mean, Jesus Christ, how does this not make one sick to see the suffering on this extent? Yes, I get it. Trust me, I get it. And that is another reason for the conspiracy theories regarding the event. Because chemical warfare is not only a violation of the Geneva Convention, it is also visceral as hell, visually speaking. It tugs at the heartstrings, particularly to see children writhe in pain. And that's precisely why Ivanka Trump, who for seemingly arbitrary reasons has been given a position at the White House, tweeted about it. But hey, we're gonna get to that. The problem is, reports out of Syria of the suffering children have been suspicious and dubious to say the least in the past. In my video on children as chess pieces, I covered this topic briefly, in that the White Hats, a US-funded, at least in part, organization that has been now frequently associated with violent rebel-supporting action in the country of Syria, who have also supported and produced photos of, for example, the same child being rescued from different buildings on different days, and as well as this now famous photo of a young boy being propped up in a clean, pristine ambulance, supposedly feet away from an active war zone, as a half a dozen photographers stand outside to take his picture.
There's something I would like to say to you first of all, because I want you to go back after my interview and go to the internet to see the same picture of the same child with his sister. Both were rescued by what they call them in the West white helmets, which is a facelift of Al-Nusra in Aleppo. They were rescued twice, each one in different incident, and just as part of the publicity of those white helmets. None of these incidents were true. You can have it manipulated, and it is manipulated. I'm going to send you those two pictures, and they are on the internet.
We are seeing the same focus on the suffering of children here in terms of the media coverage. As such, as has been speculated in the past, it could be very possible that this attack was conducted on the town of Khan Sheikhoun by the rebels themselves. Did something happen? Yes, obviously something awful happened. Something that killed people, that killed children. But the details of this event are too hazy at this point for me to look at any one source and say for sure what went on here. Was this the fault of Assad entirely? Was this the rebels attacking themselves for propaganda as we have seen in the past they are willing to do? As Trump claimed in 2013 at the last major gas attack. Could it even be that Turkey has some responsibility in this instance? At this point, on the 6th of April, who freaking knows? All I know is that the details of this incident are sketchy at best, and certainly not grounds for a goddamn war, and that is the real purpose of this video. General Mattis supposedly is meeting with Trump to discuss possible military operations or options regarding Syria at this point. And who can blame Trump when his own daughter is clearly very upset by this horrific attack, regardless of the events that, led to it. But the problem is that the people who voted for Trump, we voted for him to avoid international meddling. Yes, it is horrifying, but US dickery is what led to the situation that currently exists. And more of it is the exact opposite of we, his supporters, wanted. You know what Trump's most powerful campaign slogan was for me, and probably for most Americans? It's this: America first. Trump is now considering military action against Syria over this.
These heinous actions by the Assad regime cannot be tolerated. And I will tell you that attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me. Big impact. And it's very, very possible, and I will tell you it's already happened, that my attitude toward Syria and Assad has changed very much.
Admittedly, as I have said, a horrible event. But that is the antithesis of why we voted for him. If you've followed my channel, you know I am a Trump fan, I guess. I'm a Trump supporter. But I have also called him out, or tried to call him out, where I see him going off course. And a war with Syria, well, that would certainly be going far off course. I thought we were going to be joining with Russia to fight ISIS, if anything. A war with Syria would be the anathema to everything we thought Trump stood for in terms of removing the United States from globalist politics, to take us out of an absurd position as the world police. Beyond just as a Trump supporter, I would be disgusted were he to declare militaristic action against Assad. As was said during the election, a war with Syria will likely mean a war with Russia.
For Syria.
What about the option of controlling the airspace so that barrel bombs cannot be dropped?
All the options.
What do you think of that option, sir?
Right now, Senator, for us to control all of the airspace in Syria would require us to go to war against Syria and Russia. That's a pretty fundamental decision that certainly I'm not going to make.
I want the US to be friends with Russia, allies, trade partners. However, much as you as an individual may hate Putin, and I think you have real reasons to do so, he is probably better than anything else we could have gotten from this former Soviet Union in terms of leadership in the nation. And while the polls may be rigged or skewed, at least from what we've seen, it indicates that the Russian people at large are very supportive of him, as they are Trump, funnily enough. This was supposed to be a change, a move away from international meddling towards international trade as it benefits America first. America first. Yes, this attack was horrific, but the details are still far too vague for extreme action to be considered. Look, I know just yesterday I put up a video lamenting the state of the people in Venezuela. That doesn't mean I think we need to go and freaking intervene with Venezuelan politics. It's horrible, sure, but it's up to the Venezuelan people to sort themselves out. And that might sound cruel or harsh, but I respect a nation's sovereignty, goddammit. If we cared so much about every terrible little thing, every act of violence that occurred in any other nation, why would we not currently be embroiled in a war with Saudi Arabia for throwing gays off of buildings, or stoning women to death, or functionally allowing slavery through indentured servitude, as do many if not most Middle Eastern countries under Islamic law who we are not currently at war with? Why? Why are we not at war with them if this is now a call to action? Yes, what happened in Syria is horrible. Yes, seeing photos of dead babies is repulsive, but it doesn't make it our war. It is a civil war, a national war. I mean, want to take a guess? Which war killed the most American soldiers? Was it World War II? Nope. Was it World War I? Nope. Was it Vietnam? Nope. Was it Korea? Nope. It was the freaking American Civil War, which had the highest death toll of American citizens, which actually has a toll higher than all of those aforementioned wars combined. And Confederate citizens, if you want to really break it down. Civil wars are brutal, but they are internal conflicts. Now, in current year, international politics are more convoluted than ever. So we know there's already all kinds of nebulous foreign intervention into this civil war in Syria, but we need not add to it. We are ourselves a sovereign nation, and we have spent far too long involving ourselves in globalist politics under the guise of us lamenting the conditions of people on the other side of the globe. It is time to stop doing this bullshit and focus on our own nation. On America first. For the last time. Yes. It is horribly sad, trust me. I get emotional very easily when you show me things like this. Like, gore doesn't really bother me, generally speaking, but you show me a child in pain, yeah, it's going to hurt me deep. But we should not freaking go to war over it. If you are a US citizen who finds the proposition of war with Syria to be as repugnant as I do, you can try to call your local Republican congressperson in your area, your local representative. The unfortunate bit is that most of them are going to be worthless neocons. I'll shoot off a message to my local representative to encourage Trump not to do this. And hey, maybe you can tell yours too. I will include a link in the description to find your local representative, as well as a stock message that you can use if you so wish. Other than that, let's all just calm down, chill out, have a nice cold pint, and wait for this whole thing to blow over. Well, hopefully. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Aiden Paladin, Altana Volt.